And I do so because the founding character in Protestantism, Martin Luther, justified his own break with the Catholic Church by an appeal to conscience. He said, "My conscience is held captive to the Word of God. Here I stand, I can do no other." And while I disagree with just about every word that ever came out of Luther's mouth, that's the one place where I agree with him. And it's actually a Catholic teaching that the conscience is primary, and even badly formed conscience, we have an obligation to follow, but we also have an obligation to form it rightly, right? So, but if you are persuaded that something is your moral duty, then it is a sin not to do that thing, whatever it might be. And you do the best job you can to figure out what that moral duty is. So I think a good place to go with non-Catholic relatives is to say, look, Luther was right. It's not safe to disobey conscience. And I'm trying to follow my conscience here. I don't expect you to agree with me. I don't expect for you to approve my position or my decision. But what I would ask of you is that you grant me the dignity of my conscience, and I will grant you the same dignity. I will not insist that you follow me, but can you recognize that I have a conscience and that obedience to conscience is a priority? And here's the alternative. I myself, when I was coming into the Catholic faith, I went through a period where I was persuaded that the Catholic faith was true and that becoming Catholic would cost me interpersonally, and a price that I was not yet willing to pay. And so I refrained from becoming Catholic for a year or two because I didn't want the headache of the family conflict that it would generate. And I continued to attend the Presbyterian Church during that period. And do you know what I got out of those Presbyterian worship services in the meanwhile? Zip. Nada. Nothing. Zilch. Because my heart wasn't there anymore. And I knew it was false. I just knew the system was untrue. And so I sat embittered, alienated, frustrated, dissipated, my spiritual life just ebbing away into nothing. And that's what happens when you disobey your conscience. And finally, my wife, who did not want me to be Catholic at that time, saw what was happening to me spiritually, and she, in a kind of fit of desperation and exasperation, said, "Well, you had better just go ahead and become Catholic then, Anders, because I can't see you just wasting away in front of me like this." And that's actually how it happened. And so she sort of knocked me off the fence. And I said, well, maybe I need to do this. And so I started knocking on the doors of Catholic parishes until I found a priest who was willing to dialogue with me about my issues. And then I came on into the faith. And that's what you're looking at if you don't follow your conscience. You're looking at dissipating your moral life and your spiritual life and just sort of sinking into a kind of somnolence where spiritual sleepiness, where nothing's happening and nothing's going on, and you're wasting your energies. And your family doesn't want that for you. You're not going to be the son, the father, the husband, the cousin, the friend that you could be if you're living in disobedience to conscience.
833-288-EWT.